This is it right here.
Combining a team of reporters, columnists, and commentators.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Are you serious?
Jack Ebling has brought thought-provoking discussion.
What are you doing?
That's a damn coaching mistake!
Opinion.
The customer is the one who decides when the future gets here.
Oh, no!
The ship is on fire!
You have to check the report.
Are you kidding me?
That game was fixed.
And overall infotainment.
I'll take Jim Harbaugh.
What has he done?
Crazy Cooter coming at you!
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't you ever come back here again!
No arguments. Those are called ass tunes.
So buckle up.
You talking to me?
It's time for The Drive with Jack Ebling.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Great afternoon, Greater Lansing and beyond. Welcome to The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight, a radio network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob, again live in studio, Spotlight Facility 105 West Allegan, 1 block southeast of the state capitol. Rob, another warm but not hot, cloudy day, 82 degrees. Haven't seen the sun today, and I don't think we will until next Monday. Temperatures in the low 80s. Great day.
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
Don't let the Tigers get hot. Oh, wait. Too late for that.
A little late for that. Yeah, exactly. That started June 1st. Be a great day to be on the golf course, actually. You wouldn't need too much sunscreen. Let's go out to our guest line. Very happy to welcome in Tony Garcia of the Detroit Free Press. Does a great job covering the University of Michigan football and basketball. How you doing, Tony?
Good. Doing well, Jack, and guilty as charged on the golf course. Teeing off in a few minutes, so apologies in advance when you hear I'll try to keep the profanity to a minimum.
I thought you were so busy covering Michigan with the daily availability, watching practice, that you wouldn't have time to play golf, but you must be very fast at what you do.
Yeah, no, it was squeezing some things in. We did meet with some players today.
Okay.
Fortunately, that was around noon, and so had enough time to write a little bit, plan a little bit, and it's still, my calendar still says summer, so I am trying to act like it is.
Where are you playing today? Is this your membership at Barton Hills?
Yeah, right. I wish. Just local links here in Ann Arbor. It's called Huron Hills, over sort of north side of Ann Arbor. So just not too fancy of a course, but it gets the job done.
And for those who you may want to sucker into a match at some point, can you give us your handicap?
Yeah, it's about 16.
Okay, all right.
Haven't played much this year.
Okay, well, you could play with us.
But
yeah,
no. So right around, we're hoping to shoot an 85 today.
Oh, that's pretty good. I would take that. We used to play a ton of golf on the beat. And Tony, it's not quite like that anymore. At least the Michigan State media, they're not golfers, but we used to be. And every road trip, we would try to play on Friday. If the people at the Lansing State Journal are listening right now, they're probably getting an education. But we used to leave early Friday morning, get what we were going to get. We usually had it worked out through the visiting athletic communications and sports information staff, get us on the university course. We did that for a long time. And then the guy who was a beat writer for college and pro football, but also a tremendous golf writer for the Free Press, a guy named Jack Saylor. Yeah. And Jack was, he would get us on anywhere. We would go to New Orleans. We'd play where the PGA Tour was. We played in Tucson, Arizona one time. We had a guy get chased by a Gila monster. We had a lot of experiences. A lot of experiences on the golf course in terms of covering especially football, but basketball too during the NCAA tournament. So
I always try to. I mean, like media days. I didn't do it this year in Chicago, but a few years back when it was in Indy, I stopped on the way down and played 18 on the way down because I was going in the day before I needed to be there anyway.
Nice. Who is the best golfer of the University of Michigan media?
That's a good question. I
think you ought to have the Tony
Garcia
Open and determine this.
Yeah, I haven't played with a ton, and here's someone I don't like to give a lot of credit to. Ryan Zook of M Live.
Yeah.
He's a decent stick.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can get him on a good day, but he can hit it in pretty good ways. And please don't tell him I said anything positive about him.
I will not. I will not. I'll tell him, and if it ever comes up, tell him that he couldn't break 100. So we'll pass that on. What about what you saw today? Which players did you have access to?
Yeah, we spoke with Andrew Sprague, the right tackle, Jamie French, a wide receiver, Eno Etta, defensive tackle, and Jair Hill, the starting cornerback. So a couple guys from each side of the ball. And I really enjoyed speaking with Eno, someone who was the highest-rated recruit in his class 4 years ago on the team. Obviously, Michigan's defensive tackles. In that time, Mozzie Smith, Chris Jenkins, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, right? You really sort of had, even last year, Rayshon Benny. They brought in some other guys, Damon Payne from Alabama, Trey Williams from Clemson.
Yeah.
So he's had to wait his time. He's been a depth piece, but he's going to be counted on this year to be more than that. I would expect him to get to start next to Trey Pierce in the middle. And he has some good perspective. And he was talking about, someone asked him, like, when did you feel like you could really be one of the guys? And I actually really enjoyed his answer. He went back to the ReliaQuest Bowl in 24 against Alabama when some of those guys, Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, Michigan had like 7 starters opt out.
Yeah.
And they'd started the season 5-5, got bowl eligibility against Northwestern, stunned Ohio State. But people thought it was just that, like a shocker, right? And Alabama, like Ohio State, was favored by double digits. No one really gave them much of a chance.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the only people who believed in us. He's like, we had Michigan fans who were showing up to that game. Were like, I think we're about to get spanked, right? He's like, but we believed and we knew what we could do. And he said, really, since then, he's like, I can be one of these guys, and I appreciated that perspective.
I always wondered how that team was ever 5-5. Bad quarterback play, right?
Yeah, it was the turnstile, right? It was Davis Warren, it was Alex Orji, it was Jack Tuttle for a game and a half. That was a lot of it. They did not have a ton of skill position talent, I would say. Justice Haynes was not yet in the fold. That was the Kalel Mullings year, who was splitting time with Donovan Edwards, and Kalel was a good back. Donovan didn't have a great season. I think they didn't have a receiver who had over 250 yards receiving. I think maybe one had 251. It was either 250 or 251 was their leading wide receiver, and no wide receiver caught multiple touchdown passes. So I think when those are your numbers, that'll tell the story.
I don't know that this is true, but I heard that no team in college football history had ever beaten Ohio State and Alabama with less offensive production.
I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Michigan. So the game against they didn't cross the 50 and score a touchdown in either game. The game against Ohio State, they started a 1st and goal on their lone touchdown when they won 13-10. They got an interception. It might have been Zeke Berry. I'll have to go back. I don't remember who had that pick. I should. Yeah. But they had 2 field goals, and that was enough on that day. And then against Alabama turned the ball over 3 times in 4 snaps in what was a monsoon of a first quarter. Michigan started in plus territory every time. Yeah. They had 1 touchdown. I think it was a 16-yard pass on a 3rd and 9. From Davis Warren to it might have been Fred Moore, who's up in East Lansing now. Yeah, I could be wrong about Fred Moore. I don't know why I feel like that's who it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to go like 65% certain it was Fred Moore.
Well, I have a Fred Moore story for you from the other day. Okay.
Hit me with it.
We don't get to watch a lot of practice, but we do get to watch some individual stuff, right? Position groups. When they get into full team, then they shoo us out of there. But I was watching the wide receiver blocking because I think that's an underrated part of the position. And Fred Moore really knew how to block. I'm thinking about how many Michigan receivers I have said that about. One of the best of all time was John Colasar. And he actually said that Schembechler had renamed the position wide blocker. But I was watching Fred Moore, and I said, this guy has really spent a lot of time blocking downfield. So I don't know what kind of receiver he is, but that guy can block. So
it's an emphasis in Ann Arbor. I mean, I know this is not the most original phrase, and other people use it too, but they really live by it. No block, no rock.
Yeah.
If you want to get thrown the ball, you got to show that you are going to go put your nose in there. And I mean, I know, coaches have told me they will watch film explicitly on how wide receiver, like say it's a toss left or something. How is that Z receiver on the right side of the formation, even knowing that the ball is not going your way? How are you blocking? Because if there's a missed tackle, somebody hits a counter, they bounce it back. You can't be on your heels, and so no, they really definitely put an emphasis on that.
I don't think you find too many long runs, Tony, where the receivers haven't been a big part of it.
No. Oh, no. I mean, as they say, I mean, it takes all 11 to make a play happen. I mean, every now and then you'll just get an unbelievable, like, Marshawn Lynch-type individual effort, right? But 95 times out of 100, everybody is doing their job. And that's a lot of why people say, I mean, football's the ultimate team sport. If anybody's not doing their 111th, a play that should have worked against a called defense can just come up and it'll be just a 3-yard gain.
I seem to remember Donovan Edwards with one or two of those runs where just like the seas parted and he went through and no one touched him. But those are few and far between. I was going to ask you about Donovan Edwards. Where is he now? Which team is he with?
That's a good question. I've lost track of Donovan. I know he was with the Jets, and I think he had a brief stint in Miami. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's on a roster right now. Okay. I mean, he probably is, but
yeah.
I haven't checked.
Yeah, we'll check on that. Have you spent enough time looking at the opponents for Michigan to have a good feel about the rest of the Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a decent enough amount. I know we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and I was still needing to get into some of that research. But no, I think the quarterback position is extremely strong this year across the league. I think the top of the schedule, which Michigan's going to play a lot of those teams, I mean, is as loaded as I've seen it, right? I mean, certainly the top three. I mean, I think there are 5 or 6 teams, the sixth being Penn State, and much of that is just because of their schedule. I think there are 6 teams with designs on making the college football playoff from an 18-team conference out of 12 teams across the country to do so. So, I mean, obviously we know it's Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon. I mean, all of their quarterbacks. Josh Hoover hasn't really proven it at the Big Ten level, but no quarterback in the country has thrown for as many yards as Josh Hoover, right? And I think people are done doubting if Indiana, or should be, and what Curt Cignetti can bring in. And then you got Julian Sayin and Dante Moore, who both are shortlist Heisman Trophy guys.
Right.
And so then, I mean, Indiana adding reinforcements to its defensive line as if it needed any more skill. USC, they've got a top 10, 15 recruit in the country coming in who I know they're expecting big things from on offense. And so there's just, I mean, there's talent. And I'll bring it back to Michigan. Big Ten Network had its annual stop in Ann Arbor yesterday, and some of the highlights, I mean, just there was this one of Savion Hyder, and maybe you could say it felt like he kind of knew the camera was on him, but I mean he sends a blocking dummy into orbit. It is just one of the most violent runs you've ever seen in a practice, and that's sort of that explosion. And I mean, he's a next level athlete. Like, I would put Savion Hyder among the top 3 to 5 freshmen in this league.
Just checked on Donovan Edwards, and last year he was on the Commanders practice squad. He wasn't on the regular roster, and this year he is trying to make the Miami Dolphins.
Miami, okay, yeah. So
see how that goes.
That sounds about right.
All right. I was going to ask you if you could rank the top 8 Big Ten quarterbacks, because you mentioned a few of them, and there are some other very good ones we haven't talked about yet. If you could have your pick of any one to win a game, who would you take?
I mean, it's between two for me. It's between Sayin and Moore. I mean, if I need, like, they might be different answers. If it's to win a game, maybe Julian Sayin. I think what did he have, 3 picks last year? Like, he just protects the ball so well and makes so many good decisions.
Yeah.
But if I'm down 6, for whatever reason, I'm down 6 and I need a touchdown to win it, or down 7 and I need to force OT, probably Dante Moore, just because he is so special. I mean, he is just such a tremendous athlete. He can make any throw on the field. And he's been around, right? Like, so he has a lot of experience. So maybe I'm copping out and picking the 2. I would be fine with either of them.
Okay.
Those would be 1 and 2 with a bullet.
But your life depends on it. You have to win the game, okay? The last game of the season. Who are you lining up with?
I might go Julian Sayin.
Okay.
I just think he's got a lot of moxie, but you're also, so much of it is about the system they're in, right? And so it's so hard to evaluate quarterbacks one versus the other when situations can be so different.
Yeah.
But just what I saw out of Julian Sayin, the consistency last year, that's always one of my. I mean, I want a guy who I know what he's going to be at his worst, not what I think he can be at, or what I have seen in practice at his best.
Okay, so Rob, we're going to keep track of this. Tony is going Sayin 1, Moore 2. Who do you have 3 and 4?
3 and 4. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to miss some. I guess I'll go again. 3, I'll go Hoover, and 4. I mean, in terms of talent, now that I'm down to 4, I will go with upside. I'll go DeMond Williams.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
He's a special player. He's a special player.
He was ranked number 1 last year among all Big Ten quarterbacks in the clutch, either in late game situations or under pressure when he was being blitzed. He had the best results. You have 3 and 4, Hoover and DeMond Williams. What about 5 and 6?
5, I might go see. And now Lindsey at Minnesota. I think he could have a good year. I don't know that I could go that high. Jaden Maeva. For sure. Yeah. I probably should. Honestly, I probably would have put him in that 4 spot if my mind
we'll
was
let
clear.
you do that. We'll let you do that. He moved into a 4th spot, and you're sliding DeMond Williams down 1 spot
to 5. Yeah, to 5.
Okay. And who's number 6?
6. I don't know. Lindsey, Iamaleava. You're starting to get into. I mean, I don't know that I could go Bryce yet. I'll go Lindsey.
Okay.
I'll go Drake Lindsey.
You have Lindsey 6. Okay. 7 and 8. Then we'll stop at 8.
All right. Who am I? I mean, I feel like in Nebraska, we just haven't seen anything from him yet.
Right.
Iowa's new. I'm trying to think about these teams on the fly. Wisconsin, no. Rutgers, obviously not. Maryland. He's just prototypical, like, great athlete. Like, he looks the part, but just not sold. 7, I'll go Iamaleava, and then 8, I'll take Bryce.
Okay, you have Bryce number 8 in the top half, toward the middle. I got it. Looking at
who am I forgetting, Jack? Where are you at?
Well, I think you're in the general area of all these guys. I was gonna say I thought you had forgotten Jordan Maeva, but you got him. You came back to him, and we got him in his rightful spot, so that's good. I'm curious, and this isn't necessarily a reflection of the quarterback, Tony, because a lot of it has to do with the receiving core and the running game and how much someone will have to throw, depending on the scoreboard. But would you guess that Bryce Underwood will throw for more yards and touchdowns than Alessio Milivojevic?
I would think so.
Okay. There are a lot of people around here who would disagree with you, and part of it is that Michigan may be ahead in games and with its running game may not have to throw as much as Michigan State would. I bring that up because the Spartans are facing 3 of their former starting quarterbacks this year in Spartan Stadium. And everyone,
Hauser, Kim, Childs.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yes. And everyone knows about Aiden Childs, of course, because he was just the starter here, and Caden Hauser was highly recruited and gone on and done some decent things, East Carolina and now at Illinois. But the one of the three that has had the best statistics and led the MAC last year in passing yards was Noah Kim. So I think a lot of it is the situation for quarterbacks. That's what they find themselves in, and what kind of offensive line they have, too, in front of them. So,
and, I mean, we see that at the next level, right? I mean,
sure.
Sam Darnold didn't change his stripes. I mean, Baker Mayfield had a resurgence, right? Who else? I mean, Daniel Jones last year with the Colts.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel it's even more so at the college level just because they're so raw.
Michigan State, Tony, is opening against Toledo. And Toledo's been a pretty good MAC team now with Jason Candle gone. It's a little different. But Toledo has been a pretty strong MAC program. And it was in the 2008 season with Nick Sheridan at quarterback for Michigan. They lost 13-10 to Toledo. Do you remember anything about that game, or was that kind of before you were really all in?
No, I mean, I don't remember it as well as I would if I covered it. I was at that game.
Okay.
And so I remember, and that was what was that 1 year after App State.
Yeah,
and it was like, boy, here it goes again.
Yes.
I mean, I just remember being stunned that Michigan could only score 10 points against Toledo. That seemed like an impossibility.
Right.
But that's about all I remember of it.
Yeah. Well, those kinds of games don't happen often, but when they do, if you're there, you never forget them. I've seen a couple of those with Michigan State basketball where they've had incredible teams. One that won a national championship and managed to lose to Wright State. I think I saw one with the Michigan basketball team that won in '89. So every once in a while you get one of these games that make no sense. And maybe they actually spur a team on. I remember the year that Northwestern won its first of two back-to-back titles, in Big Ten football. It was 1995. And you have a loss to Miami of Ohio, and then they win at Notre Dame. So it doesn't make any sense. Does one thing lead to another? Is that maybe a galvanizing point for a team? But I guess you'd rather avoid that kind of loss and wouldn't want to find out, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think you're onto something with. There can be sort of a gut check. I wonder how much more that would have happened, or if we'll see that less in this day and age, right?
Mm-hmm.
When is back in the era of this is your team and you have a real identity versus there's money involved.
Yeah.
I'm just here for a year, and this is not just a Michigan thing or a state thing. I mean, this is everybody across the nation,
right?
And so it feels like one of those bad losses that would often doom you, but you could come back from. Back in the day, it feels like now, that's just about a death nail.
It's funny, Tony. At the end of last season, you wouldn't have thought either of these guys would be on a Big Ten roster, and it turns out they are. They'll be two of the best defensive linemen in the league, and they have the same last name. Michigan has John Henry Daly, right? The transfer from Utah.
Yep.
And Indiana has Stephen Daly, who had 17 tackles for losses last year and was really a force, and got hurt in the Big Ten championship game and couldn't play after that, but they didn't stop him. So you got two guys like that back. You wonder what the rule is going to be. I'm assuming they think Stephen Daly is going to be able to play, but we're hearing so much now from Greg Sankey, saying. Don't fall for any of this stuff. The NCAA mandate is still in effect. Last year seniors are not eligible. Do you think that's the way it's going to be, or do you think the Colorado District Judge's ruling is going to hold?
I've gotten out of the game of predicting this stuff. You know what I mean? Like Dusty May was just talking with someone he was like, I left college because this stuff is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And it's just, for every ruling that the NCAA makes one way, you find a judge
Sure.
in like somewhere in Tuscaloosa or Athens or Lubbock, or who's gonna side with your. You find a way to get an injunction and then just try to kick the can down the road.
Right.
So I really have absolutely no idea which way that's going to go.
All right. Last thing, you mentioned Dusty May. When's the last time you spoke with him?
I was texting with him about a week or two after he left, maybe 3 weeks after he left. But I haven't spoken with him in person since 5 days before he left the program.
Okay. Do you think that you will be down in Dallas at some point doing a story on him?
I don't plan to be. Maybe if Michigan makes the Cotton Bowl or something, I would be a part of that.
I was going to say that would be a great winter trip for you. You ought to plan that one. I used to spend an awful lot of the Lansing State Journal's money, Tony, on little junkets like that, and I would try to find a good reason to get to warm weather.
Oh yeah, I always try to. I'm all about it whenever I can find something that works and get a little 2-for-1 in. Like I was in Vegas this summer, and I was trying to make it to when the Mavs played the Thunder, but I got in. My flight was already booked, and I missed it by like 2 hours. But even though I was there for vacation, I was going to try to squeeze something in.
Tony Garcia, Michigan beat writer for the Detroit Free Press. Hit him straight, and you won't know Tony's score until at least tomorrow when it's posted. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack.
We will be right back, and this is an all Detroit Free Press hour, Rob. We're going to have Reiner Sabet spend a lot of time covering college football, a lot of time, especially in the SEC, and now up here with Michigan and Michigan State, and then he was sucked into the Detroit Lions beat, but now he's kind of back here more. Saw him at Michigan State football availability the other day, back where he belongs. Be right back on The Drive with Jack. Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Are you passionate about college sports? Foster Swift Sports Talk is your go-to podcast dedicated to addressing the hottest topics in college athletics, including recruiting practices, NIL, the trade portal, collectives, and revenue generation.
Join us as we bring you insights from student athletes, college head coaches, administrators, and other industry leaders as they share their experiences in this rapidly changing arena.
Our mission is to share information and help educate student athletes, parents, coaches, and other stakeholders with the knowledge, resources, and strategies they need to make informed decisions and maximize each college athlete's potential for long-term success. Check out our latest episode. We're joined by Michigan State basketball players Andre Hudson and David Thomas to discuss their playing careers and also being parents to elite athletes. Like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages to watch all of our episodes, or you can give us a listen on any of your favorite podcasting platforms by simply searching Foster Swift Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Dave Russell.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Tigers win again, 3-0 today over Cleveland. Cater Montero on the mound. One of the weirdest games that you will ever find, Rob. Tigers got a shutout without a strikeout.
Indeed. And maybe more important news, the White Sox losing to the Cincinnati Reds this afternoon, 9-8 as well. So.
You know what that means? If the Tigers can sweep the White Sox, as the ESPN matchup predictor says they will do, by Sunday night, the Tigers will be in first place.
How about those Tigers?
Unbelievable. All right, we want to talk some more football, and let's go back to our guest line. We have Reiner Saban with us from the Detroit Free Press. Reiner, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Jack?
It's good to see you the other day over at Michigan State Media Availability, and you're one of those guys who can float, and you can be a lot of places, and you'd already been to Michigan a couple times, right?
Yes. No, just once. Since they've been back, yeah, and then predominantly the Lions, or since they reconvened for training camp.
So I was just mentioning that you had covered a ton of college football, and you're very good at it. And I don't want to say you were wasted last year, but I thought that from a reader standpoint, you could have provided more on Michigan and Michigan State. Dave Burkett is a tremendous beat writer for the Free Press, but we missed you around here. Are we going to see you more this fall?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, that's kind of TBD, but I mean that it's leaning towards that direction. So yeah. I mean, I hope so, because I do love college football. So it's definitely something I grew up watching. Probably watched that a lot more than the NFL actually growing up. So yeah, college football. I mean, prior to me going to the Free Press, I mean, I did that for 3 years. In Alabama, so it was. It's certainly something I'm familiar with covering, and so I enjoy covering it too. Mm-hmm.
And background or awareness of Arkansas as well, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's probably where I really kind of sunk my teeth into it. But I watched a lot of it, back when I was a kid. I actually watched that a lot more than the NFL, and just covered the NFL by. Just by dint of circumstance, and so it was just kind of spontaneous. But I thought I was going to probably stay almost exclusively in the college football realm until that kind of switch up happened, kind of early in my career. Mm-hmm.
So, talking about Arkansas, I think we were exchanging some messages about this bizarre situation with a kid, a high school kid, who found a 2-foot cottonmouth snake in his helmet. And that would be shocking enough if you went to pick it up and found a snake in your helmet.
Sure.
But the guy managed to wear this helmet for 90 minutes and then realized, something is really wrong with this helmet. I don't know if it's too heavy or it's out of balance or what. And taking it off and finding this venomous snake, and was never bitten by the snake. I can't imagine what that would have been like just to take your helmet off and find a snake inside.
Probably traumatizing. Yeah, traumatizing. I remember I had some friends in Arkansas who were floating down the White River there, and apparently I wasn't there, but I don't know that there was like a cottonmouth hanging from a tree branch and like basically, snuck up on them, and almost bit them. And if you get bit by one of those, I mean, it's you got to probably go to the hospital for that.
Yeah.
And they are poisonous.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the 3 teams then that you have seen in practices, and let's start with Michigan. When were you there, and what did you see?
Well, I didn't see. I mean, I've not seen them practice. I mean, obviously, I saw the spring game, of course, and I mean, which is basically all you're allowed to see.
Yeah.
And I caught some glimpses, obviously, of clips from BTN and other, the ones that they post via the program. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, again, based on those glimpses, I mean, some of that stuff is curated. I mean, outside of the spring game, we all saw that, and it's TBD on Bryce Underwood and whether he'll be good. Having talked to Jake Butt, who's the Big Ten analyst, he thinks that he's improved quite a bit since then. I mean, the one thing that Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator, said was like, he looks better, but like again, when the bullets are flying and when the pressure's amped up and he's under duress, I mean, is he going to fall back to his old habits? And so that's the big question mark. Jake Butt, when I was talking to him, thinks that, I mean, again, their whole season hinges on his development and his ability to perform against some of those tough defenses that they faced. I mean, they got Oklahoma, Iowa, Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana, Penn State, which again is a complete wild card, and he thinks Michigan State's going to be improved too. So I mean, it's not an easy schedule that they have to navigate, and he really needs to perform well for them to have any success.
What's the biggest thing that Bryce Underwood has to learn?
I mean, it's just a simple mechanics, footwork. Also, I mean, decision making.
Yeah.
Touch on the football. I mean, layering the ball. I mean, again, based on what Jake Butt said, he was layering the football in practice better than he was. I mean, he didn't do that in the spring game. I mean, that was the issue, I guess, with him last year was that like everything came out 90 miles per hour. There wasn't much touch on it. So there's a lot to work on. I mean, again, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, that week 2, I mean, Venables, he comes out with, all different types of things to confuse you. That's what happened in the 2018 national championship game with Alabama and Clemson. I mean, I was there, and, I mean, he confused Tua. I mean, up until that point, I mean, that offense was humming for Alabama for the most part. And Venables is known to scheme you up. So, I mean, that week 2 test is going to be big for him.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Oklahoma either. I've seen some people say that, well, the Vegas over-under for FanDuel is 7.5 wins for Oklahoma.
Right.
That's not great. And then I'm seeing people now saying that they got a real good chance to be in the playoff.
Sure. I mean, I think with all these teams, and I think in college football in general, you just don't know. I mean, you don't know, again, because of all the, the transfer movement, you just really don't know how these rosters are going to take to each other. So, yeah, I think a lot of that is a lot more uncertain than it used to be before, this wave of the transfer portal and NIL.
Yeah. So, I guess when we talk about Underwood, you never know in terms of the receiving core exactly what's there. Are they making plays? Are they making his job harder? But when I think they'll be
much better there. Yeah. I mean, that Buchanan, I think is a huge upgrade over what they had as a second receiver. Andrew Marsh is pretty darn good as a freshman.
Right.
So I think they'll actually have a pretty good receiver core. The question is, like, how much does the tight ends produce? I mean, that they could probably take a step back there, at least from a pass catching standpoint. I mean, Marlon Klein was, certainly a downgrade from Colston Loveland, but he was still a decent offensive threat, not as much a blocker. So, like, I think the question is, like, will Zach Marshall, the tight end, be able to provide anything from a offensive standpoint? But yes, I mean, there's some questions obviously with the passing game, because I think they had 28 drops last year, and the receivers were bad, and Samaj Morgan was the primary culprit, and he's no longer there.
I go back to 2012, and this shows what receiving corps can do to you, Reiner. Michigan State was coming off a second straight 11-win season and a berth in the Big Ten championship game. And they were 1 year away from going to the Rose Bowl and winning 13 games. But that year in between, just could never really get it together. They lost a ton of close games, barely had a winning record. They did win a bowl game. But they had 66 drops. And Joe Rexroad and I were thinking that had to be an NCAA record. When you look at 13 games, that's like 5 drops a game.
That's incredible. Yeah. That you're not going to win many games, at least, if you're dropping that many passes.
Right.
I mean, giving up that many yards, that's rough.
And everyone will differ on what is a drop. There's no official quantifiable stat. It's tougher than figuring out in baseball if it's a hit or an error. And if you get one hand on the ball, is it a shoulda caught? Is it a coulda caught? All that goes into it as well. I guess I look at.
Well, and you don't know whether, like with Underwood, again, he throws the ball very hard. Whether I mean, some people talk about throwing a catchable ball. I mean, there is some truth to that. So I don't know how much it falls on him too, to some degree.
I think the big step for Bryce, you talk about the different kinds of passes to throw. He certainly has the arm talent to do all of that.
Yes,
but the decision making, to me, is every bit as important, and I know it's a spring game. You can't get too worked up about it. There were a couple of plays where you said, what is he looking at in that spring game?
Right. Yeah, there was a throw over the middle into triple coverage that was dicey. I mean, he almost completed it, but it was also almost intercepted. I mean, it's not a wise throw, and not many people, outside of very few, can complete that kind of throw anyway. So, like, there was one of that. I mean, again, he was bailing from the pocket pretty quickly. I mean, running out of bounds in the spring game, that's a little bit alarming. I mean, he was inaccurate with even just an out pass, a 5-yard out to the sideline. The footwork was bad. I mean, he was throwing off his back foot, really not stepping into the throw. The mechanics were all off. I mean, which made you wonder. I mean, supposedly he was working with Jordan Palmer by then anyway, and some of these quarterback coaches. So, how much development did he do in the span between April and now? It's hard to know. I mean, based on what they say, again, supposedly he's made some significant strides, but we'll see. I mean, even Jason Beck was like, "Well, we'll see when the lights come on in the game."
Is it pretty clear to you, Reiner? I think it is to me that Michigan and Michigan State are going to have definite coaching upgrades this year.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, obviously, you've seen what Whittingham has done at Utah, and the same with Pat Fitzgerald. I mean, he won with less. And Northwestern, I mean, again, with Fitzgerald, I mean, the interesting thing will be, like, again, some of his success could be attributed to the fact that, he was competing in the Big Ten West. I mean, anybody who West versus East, I mean, is probably going to have a little bit easier time back then when the Big Ten was split up that way. But still, I mean, like, again, he was playing at a disadvantage based on the talent he could get at Northwestern at the time. So, and I think, philosophically, he fits what Michigan State's all about.
Yeah.
And being a defensive coach, I'm predisposed to like defensive coaches over offensive coaches myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And so much of it, you talked about the Michigan staff, and we have seen it over and over with the Michigan State coaches we have talked to. Everyone looks at the head coach, but one of the most important things a head coach does is pick his staff because they're the ones who are working with the players on a daily basis, and I think both of the assistant corps have been upgraded considerably.
That's true, and I think Rossi being there, also probably helps. Just again, they needed some continuity.
Yeah.
And I mean, how much? Again, his performance, the results weren't that great, but I mean, how much is that talent versus scheme? I mean, also, the fact is that Rossi really benefits when they have, again, the time of possession's in the favor. Yeah. And I think, again, somebody like Fitzgerald understands the value of that, controlling the football and what that can do for the defense. So that's why I kind of lean towards defensive coaches, because they kind of understand the big picture, how the offense affects the defense. Because the offense usually has much more of an effect on the defense than vice versa.
Yeah, and if you're a coach at Ohio State, for example, and you have more 5 stars than you would ever consider having 3 stars, then you should be able to get a lot of things done and win a boatload of games. But for Fitz, we know what he had and what he didn't have in terms of resources at Northwestern, and they were in the Big Ten championship game, albeit in a weaker West Division, but they were still there. Scared the crap out of Ohio State in 18 and 20. And then I look at Joe Rossi, and there were a couple years where Minnesota had the best defense in the league, and I don't think any of those guys were offered by Ohio State.
That's true, yeah. And again, he played off of what they did. I mean, they had a time of ball control. I mean, those years that they were good, they controlled the football, but obviously Rossi was getting the ball back to the offense so that they can, bleed them out. If you remember, even in that, I think it was a 2022 game where Minnesota just dominated MSU, and that was just a complete time of possession game. But it was also, again, Rossi's defense being able to get the ball back to them and them just hammering away at MSU in that game.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the projections, Reiner, and right now this is from Caesars, and Michigan, it's vacillated between 8.5, 9.5, but it's generally 8.5 with a little bit of juice. And some people are saying that they can win 10 games. Which games do you see the Wolverines losing?
Well, I think Oklahoma could be a loss just because, again, what Venables is able to scheme up. The defense that he's able to do. And then I think, obviously Oregon and possibly Ohio State and Indiana. I think there's 4 possible losses there right off the bat. Could they beat one of those teams if they start putting things together late in the season? Yeah. I would bet it would be Oregon maybe towards the end, and they start really putting things together. But that OU it's just so tricky, with a new coach coming in and the system's not completely implemented, you would think by then. Because, again, Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator, said he has the most complicated scheme in the country. That was his words. So, how quickly can they adapt to that? How much are they really able to use off their menu of calls and things they can do? So, I think there's a possibility of 4, and it's funny, they could be actually a better team than they were last year, but they could lose more games.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah. What about Michigan State? Looking at the schedule, they do not play Ohio State or Oregon, but week 3 they have that trip to South Bend, and a lot of people now are saying Notre Dame has the easiest path to the national championship game. How many games does Michigan State win?
I would go somewhere. Again, it could be better. I mean, the record could be. I would go somewhere between 5 games. I think 5. I think is possible. Yeah. I mean, I don't, and that's the thing. They might not make a bowl game, but they could. Right. I mean, they could be a much better team. I mean, Pat Fitzgerald walked into a tough situation because I don't know. I mean, again, the roster was at a talent deficit. I mean, I think we can all say that, right? I mean, it's especially in specific areas, offensive line, defensive, front seven, those kind of things. So it's tough. I mean, when you don't have good line play, I mean, everything kind of goes bust. And so I think if they can steadily upgrade that over the next couple of years, they'll be able to get the program in the right direction and the right footing. But I mean, again, philosophically, I think he'll be able to start to implement things this year. Whether that translates into wins or not, remains to be seen. But it's going to be a challenge. I mean, the Big Ten is so tough these days. I mean, again, Indiana is just another team that's added into the mix now of teams you have to worry about, which is again something that. If you told me that 3 years ago, I would have been like, "You're crazy." But it's a new world out there.
It's interesting, Reiner, that Indiana and Michigan State are the only teams that have beaten Michigan twice in the 2020s.
Yes. Yeah.
You win a lot of money or a lot of lunch bets with that one.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy when you think about it. Because I mean. Again, Michigan State at 2020 and 2021, and then Indiana would be 2021 and 2024.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at these situations, and I've gotten a lot of dirty looks when I've said it, but I don't mean it as a negative. I think Michigan and Michigan State are both going to be better football teams, sounder, getting more out of what they have. Possibly stealing a game instead of giving one away, and both alumni bases would be disappointed in the final record.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think they'll be more forgiving, though. I mean, the thing is, there's the big thing with MSU also was just the lack of buzz that. Yeah. So, I mean, and the lack of enthusiasm that was coming from the coach.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a huge salesman aspect to it. Right. And I think, Fitzgerald, at least will be able to articulate why things are not working well, also be able to provide reasons for encouragement, and be able to kind of, convey a more positive message and rally the fans in that sense. And Whittingham, I just think, again, people are going to look at him and be like, yeah, the record may not have been as good, but look at this guy's track record.
Right.
And I mean, this guy's got serious credibility as a head coach. So, which Sherrone Moore did not have, and didn't have it from the very beginning. It was pretty obvious. And I kind of alluded to that today in the story, just about expectation. I mean, he made a huge unforced error by saying that this program was going to be, able to compete for championships from day one, which was ridiculous for a team that basically lost 18 starter caliber players from the previous year, which, obviously was the national championship team. So, yeah, I mean, the one thing, again, Whittingham has done that I think is smart, is not set too high expectations, which, again, is rare at Michigan, where, they love to get on the hype train pretty quickly.
All right, last thing, Reiner, I have to ask you about the Lions and a new backup quarterback, Josh Dobbs, replacing Teddy Bridgewater, and now an injury at center. We don't know exactly how long, but that could be a minus with a shifting offensive line. Are the Lions the favorite to win the NFC North?
I don't know. I mean, that center, losing Mays is not good. I mean, that was, they possibly, I mean, it looks like it's only going to be 3 starters that are going to be new or playing positions that they weren't at the year before. Obviously, Penei Sewell moved from the right tackle to left tackle, and then you would have a new center, which was supposed to be Mays, and then a new right tackle, which is the rookie Blake Miller. But, I mean, the center, I mean, again, for a rebuild offensive line, I mean, he's kind of the point person. He's the one making the calls, I mean, and organizing things and communicating. And so to take him out of the mix when you're trying to gel as an offensive line, and not the best thing. Now, they're fortunate because the schedule is not that difficult for the first, 6 weeks, and he could be back, maybe after the bye or sometime around then. I guess that would be the hope. And so, but again, it's going to take an acclimation process for him to get back in and for that offensive line to gel again. And so I do think it's not a sure thing now because of that injury. Things were obviously looking up for them because they supposedly revamped the line. But even, we don't know how good Cade Mays is really going to be. And so, he has some flaws in his game. And so I don't know. I mean, that was the big issue with them last year. I mean, Jared Goff was sacked 38 times, which was a career high. The interior pass protection broke down, quite frequently, and the running game wasn't consistently productive. I mean, they weren't efficient all the time. And Gibbs also, I mean, that's one thing. Like people thought, they traded off David Montgomery. David Montgomery, when he lost, he didn't lose many yards, and if he did, it would be 1 yard. When Jahmyr Gibbs loses yards, it's 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6. I mean, he has a little Barry Sanders in him. I was talking to Lomas Brown about that, and I mean, that's a 6-yard loss is a drive killer. So, these are things that people probably neglect to think about. They think they see Jahmyr Gibbs, all the explosive runs, but there's a certain kind of cadence that David Montgomery provided that I think will be missed a little bit.
That's a great point. And a 6-yard loss on a running play is worse than a penalty because you also lose the down.
Sure.
Reiner, thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you the other day. I hope we see you up here a bunch and get you back on the show.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Reiner Saban of the Detroit Free Press. When we get back, we're going to talk with Chase Michelson of Circa Sports in Las Vegas. Then we have a couple of guests in studio. I know that Bob Every of the Greater Lansing Area Sports Hall of Fame and Jim Stark, our Detroit correspondent, going to want to talk a lot of baseball. We'll be right back.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Meadowar Jewelers.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
Welcome back. It is the Drive with Jack, Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Rob, let's go back to our guest line and welcome in Chase Michelson from Circa Sports. Spends a ton of time with the college game and the over-unders you see from Circa for this college football season and the weekly odds. You can blame or credit Chase for those. Chase, before we get into college football, which we keep saying that we're going to dive into, we are today, I have to talk to you a little bit about this baseball race now. And the Tigers, with the third best record in baseball since June 1st, after an absolutely miserable May, now back one game under 500. If the season ended right now, they would be the last wild card team, winning a tiebreaker with Texas. 2.5 behind the first place White Sox, and they have Chicago coming into Comerica for 3 games this weekend. Did anyone see this coming?
Well, I don't think the Tigers did. No. Otherwise, I don't think they would have traded their best pitcher.
And you didn't have anyone in Vegas say, I want to put $10,000 down on the Tigers to win the division or make the World Series, right?
No, we got some Tigers money recently. That's how it always goes.
Yeah,
they don't start betting the team until they start winning.
Right.
You know, like the Red Sox, they won't stop betting. I mean, obviously this last week hasn't been as good, but during the incredible hot streak they were on before, they just bet them every day and bet them to win the World Series every day. It's like you guys could have gotten a much better price a month ago.
Could you get a bet? I suppose maybe you could have before the season. I doubt you can do it now, at least reputable places. That the American League Central or American League West winner will be under 500.
No, but that is pretty significant. You know, it's more likely now with the unbalanced schedules, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's still jarring to see. And when you look at, I think the Mariners have the best run differential in the AL West at like minus 26 or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I saw the amazing stat that before yesterday's games, the Tigers had the best run differential in the American League.
That's correct.
Which is odd. I don't really know. It's not what you would associate. But, I mean, really, and again, obviously anybody you take out their worst month, they're going to be better. But if you take out May, kind of been really good all year.
Yeah.
Just very, 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 very bad. Very bad May.
Yeah, and I like to look at run differentials. Some people say that they don't mean as much because you can win games by a lot and you can lose a lot of close games, which the Tigers have kind of specialized in losing these leads in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. They lead the league in that too. But, you know, if you have a run differential like the Tigers where, you know, you're at 90, 91, whatever it is now, that's pretty impressive. The only teams better than that are the Brewers, the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Cubs, and they're all in the NL.
Yeah. And I think certainly from our perspective, bookmaking-wise, I think we look at run differential probably more than we do record in terms of trying to assess the relative strength of a team.
Yeah.
You know, unless you have a really outlier bullpen in one direction or the other. You know,
right.
If you have Mariano Rivera, then it's going to look a little ways. If you're the Nationals or Angels bullpen this year, it might look a little different.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know, I think bullpen performance is probably more variable than people want to give it credit for. And so, yeah, you win a lot of close games. It's good. Look, you'd rather win them than lose them, obviously.
Right.
But it's better to just blow teams out. That's better. That's more sustainable.
I want to talk for just a second about the Triple Crown. And the last player to do it in either league was Miguel Cabrera. But the last player to do it in Major League Baseball, that means the best batting average, the most home runs, the most RBIs in both leagues combined, you have to go back to Mickey Mantle. And it's only been done like 4 times in history. But you have to go back to 1956, so that is 70 years since a player has led all of baseball in those 3 categories, and Yordan Alvarez has a shot.
Yeah, we actually have been putting up the prop on a daily basis. We take it down when play starts, obviously, because it's not just about what he does, it's about what everybody does. But I know at least a couple days ago, last time I saw it, we had it in a range of 5-1 for him to lead Major League Baseball in all 3 categories, which would be, like you said, a really cool accomplishment. Tend to not necessarily root for good things to happen to the Houston Astros, but I can't help it. I have a soft spot for Yordan Alvarez. Which I'll say this: people talking about getting prospects from the Dodgers and saying, well, do we know if this guy's going to turn into anything? Dodgers had Yordan Alvarez in the system and traded him for some bullpen help one year.
Wow. So is he locked up the American League Most Valuable Player Award?
I think he is going to pretty much, because the other guys that were in discussion, whether it's, obviously Aaron Judge got hurt, which helps. Yeah. Ben Wright's cooled off significantly. Bobby Witt, you just have to play at such a high level if you're going to be on a team that's as bad as the Royals. You have to be Mike Trout in order to win MVP in those kind of years. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's certainly the favorite. There's no pitchers that are having those kinds of historic seasons in the American League. So, I think it's probably Alvarez, barring something unforeseen, and obviously assuming he stays healthy.
I saw something the other day, Chase, and this was not from a sports book. It was from Baseball Scribe, who said, Alvarez is having a historic year, but the second most valuable player in the American League is Dylan Dingler. And if you look at the hitting, maybe you can make a case for that, but he steals so many strikes, and with the challenges, he has the best record, the most accurate challenge rate in baseball. So, for a guy who they were trying to replace a year ago, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of a great catcher season from last year.
Yes.
How's that guy doing this year?
For Tigers fans, they better hope that Dylan Dingler doesn't eat whatever Cal Raleigh did in the offseason.
Yeah. Or make sure you shake your teammates' hands, even if your opponent's in the World Baseball Classic.
That would be it.
That's
too.
what people in Seattle have been blaming the loss of mojo on for all season long. But I like Dylan Dingler a lot. He's having a great year. Obviously.
What about the National League?
It's a little different than Cal Raleigh.
In the National League, I think we were thinking, okay, Shohei Ohtani, of course, pitching and hitting, but now most people I'm hearing are saying Pete Crow Armstrong has passed him.
Yeah. Well, obviously Ohtani hasn't been pitching lately, so if you go back to being a designated hitter, then you got to be really good. Obviously, and considering what PCA does in the outfield, I think PCA generally considered the best defensive outfielder in baseball. And probably a historically great defensive outfielder, really. With the amount of ground that he covers and dealing with the variable conditions, we'll say, from day to day at Wrigley. So that tips the scales in that way. And in that sense, you could argue that he's having a more well-rounded season than Ohtani, because if Ohtani only pitches half the year, then he becomes a designated hitter, and then there's somewhat limited value in that. Look, it's Ohtani. But by Ohtani standards, it's been a tough month considering not pitching, and the hitting hasn't been at as high of a level. Obviously, the Dodgers have been scuffling lately. But they got to play the Royals, which helped.
That is a remedy for a lot of problems. Want to switch to college football now. And the team with the highest over-under in a lot of these projections was Notre Dame. Is that the way you saw it?
Yeah, it's just a reflection of the schedule. Notre Dame's going to be very good, and they're certainly one of the favorites to win the championship. I think we have them right in there with Texas and Ohio State and Oregon and Miami and Indiana. You know, they're all bunched up. I don't think that one's really that much ahead of another. But for the season wins element, it's pretty dramatic, the difference between them and an Ohio State, a Texas, an Oregon, somebody like that, because their schedule is friendly. I think that you'll probably see 3 games in which they're less than 17-point favorites.
Wow.
And that's home Miami, at BYU, home SMU. I can't see really any other opponent being within 2.5 touchdowns of them from a power rating perspective going in. Now, a lot of that is that they're playing this little soft little ACC-type schedule, which helps. And they couldn't come to an agreement with USC, which, you know,
I guess they're going to resurrect that in 2030, right?
Yeah. I can't wait. Well, if any of us are alive, Jack, you know, we can't. I got to focus on this year. But yes, yes, I'm glad to see that it's coming back. It's very silly that it's going to be gone for 4 years, but that's a whole other subject, obviously.
Yeah. So after that, there's a group. If Notre Dame is 11.5, you could say, well, I guess they could lose to Miami. Certainly could lose to BYU. But other than that, and then there's the 10.5 group, and there you get 4, 5, or 6 there. Which teams did you have right behind Notre Dame?
Well, Miami, in kind of a similar situation, that they really don't have that many games where they're going to be, you know, single-digit favorites.
Right.
I mean, they opened the season at Stanford, and they're 24-point favorites on the road across the country, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, just to give you an indication of the difference in relative quality between Miami and the rest of the ACC, or at least projected relative quality.
And that's a conference
it's tougher
game.
in the tougher conferences.
Right?
Say it one more time.
That's a conference
Of course.
game. Yeah, Miami
Obviously.
and Stanford.
Obviously.
The short drive to Palo Alto.
Yeah, no, it's Mark Fletcher's mom's going to get in that RV, and she's going to drive across the country. So safe travels to Mrs. Fletcher. Oregon's at 10.5 also with some more underjuice. Harder schedule than some in the Big Ten, but you know, Oregon's got a very high power rating for sure.
Yeah.
And then we talked about this briefly last week, but Ohio State has the lowest season wins number certainly since I've been looking at this, and it's really not a reflection of Ohio State as much as it's a reflection of a very, very difficult schedule. Ohio State at 9.5. Now it's heavy overjuice, over minus 180, but still, for them to have a single-digit number is pretty, you don't see that a lot. The last time Ohio State won less than 10 games was 2011. A long time ago. I was 13.
Wow.
So, you know, that speaks to how difficult the schedule is, and it also speaks to the imbalance that you get in these massive conferences now. A team like Penn State that is power rated significantly lower than Ohio State has a season wins number of 8.5 with heavy overjuice, and only a win behind Ohio State. Now, if those two teams play, the power ratings would not be reflective of that. It's more to do with the fact that Penn State gets to dodge Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. It helps, and Ohio State has to play, obviously, Oregon and Indiana and Texas. That's tough, right? So that's the world we live in now. You're going to have teams that have the same logo on the jersey, the same conference, but really aren't playing similar schedules because the breaks are going to fall in a certain way.
Is there a team, when you were doing all this, Chase, and a tremendous amount of work to try to get this right, and you have to get it right or you pay for it?
Well, right is a relative term. We're just trying to not get killed, mostly.
Or to avoid the death sentence. When you looked at, you had the hardest time coming up with, or there's a team you look at now and you say, I don't know about that one.
It's the teams that have the most changes, right? I mean, that's going to be always teams that are a challenge. So, like, for example, Utah with their first coaching change since the Bush administration.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's hard to project what it's going to look like.
Right.
Utah has been
lost
obviously
a lot of
really
staff
consistent
members,
program.
lost a lot of players, too.
Right. They've been a consistent program for 25 years. So normally you can pencil in Utah for a certain level of play. This year, I think our number came in around that. They're 8.5 over -130, and they're in obviously a conference that's a little more friendly. You don't have the super teams necessarily in the Big 12, depending on how you feel about Texas Tech. But just trying to understand what kind of program you're going to see going forward at Utah, it's tough to project. In my notes to the guys with booking it when I'm not in the office, I said, this is a tough one. I said, be really aggressive, really in either direction. If somebody bets a lot of money on the over, let's be aggressive moving it over because it's Utah. They're consistent year after year. If they bet the under, let's be aggressive going under. Say, hey, this is a team that has a lot of questions, and, you could see significant regression. I think, you and I think, are in lockstep about how good of a coach Kyle Whittingham is and how underappreciated he is nationally. Now, he's going to step into the limelight a little bit more this year, obviously, and it's a different challenge. But for what he did and what he, I guess, kept built after Urban Meyer at Utah, really one of the most successful programs in a lot of ways of the last 20 years.
Yeah.
How does it look without him? I don't know. So that's one that's really hard. Really, really hard.
Yeah. I was looking for one I could jump on, okay, that I would say, I'm really confident in this team, thinking that maybe somebody missed something, right? I always try to find that, and I usually don't make money doing it, but once in a while you hit. And I kept coming back to Kansas State.
Okay.
Okay. And, they won a few games last year. Now they had turnover, obviously. New coach, but I really like Colin Klein. I loved him as a quarterback there. I loved him at TCU as a coordinator. I think he's coming home. He's got everybody behind him. They have won, believe it or not, hard to imagine, twice under Bill Snyder, two eras there. First one was incredible. And they've got a returning quarterback who didn't have his best year last year, but we've seen what he can do. And I'm looking at the schedule, right? I think this is always the indicator. You can get Ohio State down to 9.5 wins without trying too hard, just based on the schedule with the game at Texas, etc. But I'm looking at a start with Nichols, home against Washington State, Tulane, Cincinnati, Houston could be tricky. Kansas, Arizona State is not the team it was a couple years ago. Colorado, Oklahoma State. Some people like where Oklahoma State is going.
I'm one of those people.
You are, yeah. TCU, Arizona, and Iowa State. And the number I keep seeing is 7.5. Is that what you have?
We have 8.5 under minus a quarter, so under minus 125. So I think
you're smarter than these.
Probably. Well, you can get plus money for them to win 9 games.
Yeah,
look at it that way.
I don't know about that,
but yes,
I sure like
think
their chances
I agree
to win
with
8.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think when I went through and did this exercise and looked at everything, I basically had a similar takeaway to you that I thought the schedule was manageable. Now I think you can say that about a lot of teams in the Big 12, frankly.
Right.
But that I, in general, like how things are going there. People talk about Bill Snyder, like when what Curt Cignetti did in Indiana.
Yeah.
It obviously didn't reach the highs of Indiana, at Indiana and win the title.
Right.
But Kansas State, being as successful as they were in the 80s and 90s, if you look historically, pretty unique.
Yes.
Pretty unique. They were as bad as it gets, probably worse historically than Indiana before that. And they won multiple Big 12 championships. And I mean, that's how you get the stadium named after you, I guess.
Chase, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, thanks, Jack.
We are 22 days from Michigan State's 2026 season opener against Toledo. Our next guest is, a little fist pump there. We're going to bring Bob Every in now. Bob, we're going to have you put your headset on and slide in front of that microphone because it's very directional. There we go.
And, all right, Jack, how's this?
That's great. That's great. I guess we should start with the news of the day.
Tigers win.
Tigers 3-0. Cater Montero.
Watched every pitch.
He looks like Tarek Skubal.
Yeah. Well, Scoobs, I hate seeing him go, but my thing is now he's gone. The king is dead. Long live the king. And let's move on.
Yeah.
We got work to get done, and it looks like we're headed in that direction. So if the guys keep playing well, and I still am a little concerned about the bullpen. Even though they look pretty decent today, yesterday they didn't look good.
Right.
And but that's baseball, and
they have the best starting pitching in baseball now in terms of earned run average. Yeah. Bullpen, not so much. But
did they say they had the best one-loss record since June? Did you hear anything like that?
Third best.
Third best. Okay.
I heard. Well, now it may have changed because Boston now has dropped some, so it's possible the Tigers. It was Boston, Milwaukee, and the Tigers.
Yeah,
those three.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm a hell of a lot happier today watching them than I was back in May.
Are you one of these guys like my good friend Jim Hios, who every night just lives and dies with this team and excruciating? And I know I get a message on my phone, oh, geez, Tigers lost,
I watch them every single time that they're on. And sometimes on these night games, honestly, when I don't like the smell of the way things are going, I have to shut it off because if I don't, I won't get to sleep for 2 or 3 hours after I go to bed. I get so worked up over it. But, that's the way it goes. I'm learning in my old age to not relax necessarily, but figure it out a little bit better so I can handle the pressure.
Right. Well, I think the Tigers are not only going to make the playoffs, I think they're going to win the American League Central, and I think they're going to be the number 2 seed in the American League, and they're not even going to have to play in the wild card round.
That would be nice. You're not going to get any negativity out of me on that one. I hope so.
Property of Crown Boxing. Before that, he was the guy at Lansing Community College for softball, and of course all the work in boxing. But for me, Bob Every will always be Mr. Greater Lansing Area Sports Hall of Fame. 50 years. You've been to every one of them.
Every one. Isn't that amazing?
The only person who can say that.
Nobody else can say it that I know of. I mean, Walt Lingo's still alive. He was the founding father, but he's been in Arizona now for years.
Right.
I do have a couple of announcements to make that on the night of the inauguration or the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Dean Look.
Yes.
One of the original inductees, and then Jimmy Sinadinos, another original inductee, will be there. And that'll be fun. And Walt Lingo's coming back from
all three of them, the three from 76.
Yep. The 3 from 76, and me.
I talked to Dean. I haven't talked to Sinadinos or Walt, but Dean was really excited about it. And when I said, hey, they got 3 members of this inaugural class who could be back, he thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of great athletes that came out of this town, but I can't say I could name one over Dean Look that was an all-around athlete like Dean Look was. I mean, he played football, he ran track. I mean, he's good at baseball. I mean, guy was just a super athlete. And then he
2-sport pro.
Yeah, 2-sport pro, and then they finished off his career years as an NFL official.
29 years in the National Football League.
Leroy Neiman's
that's right.
On the catch.
The catch. Yeah. Exactly. Do you know the story about Dean when he was being recruited?
I've heard a couple, but they're so funny. You might want to refresh my memory if you would.
So he could have gone anywhere. Star at Lansing Everett, right?
Ohio State, I guess, was recruiting him pretty heavily.
Yeah, Michigan was recruiting him too, right? And so Michigan had him come down for the game at the end of the year in Ann Arbor, Ohio State, Michigan, right?
Yep.
And he's sitting with all the Michigan recruits, and Michigan thinks they're going to get him. They think they're going to get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's sitting there, and it was 1954, 55. Howard Hopalong Cassidy, right, is back, and he wins the Heisman Trophy that year. And he gets a punt back on like his own 18-yard line, something like that. Starts weaving through the Michigan defense. And all of a sudden, Dean stands up and he yells, "Go, Hoppy, go!"
Yeah, I heard that story.
Right?
What a great story.
Yeah, and then the Michigan people look at him like, what the? And the next day, he went over and knocked on Duffy Daugherty's door, walked in, and committed in the living room.
Yep. Yeah, now was Duffy the coach then?
Yeah.
Or was it?
Duffy was the coach.
Okay, I know Duffy came in.
Yeah. Duffy's first year was 54.
Okay, all right. And and he took over for the
Biggie Munn.
Biggie Munn, the great Biggie Munn. I look back, of course, I can identify with that because I came into Lansing to go to college in '66.
Okay.
So there was a lot of residual stuff still flopping around and then new stuff being done on campus. Right. And that campus was just on fire with everything. I mean, the track team, the basketball team was doing good, and the football team. I mean, just every program that they had out there seemed to be really kicking it in, and it was really great living being a part of Michigan State University back then.
Dean Look has another honor that no other Michigan State player has had, Bob. He was a terrific running back for Duffy, right? In 57 and 58. Now, he's going into a senior year. And Duffy realizes, I think there was an injury in the summer or something else, and he realized, we don't have a quarterback. We do not have a quarterback on this team. He calls Dean into the office, and he said, Dino, what do you think about playing quarterback? Dean said, well, I don't, he's been a left halfback. Makes him a quarterback, 1959. He's first-team All-American.
Yeah, unbelievable. I told you he was a great athlete.
Yeah.
Not only is he a great athlete, he is a great human being. I've never met a nicer guy than Dean Look. I mean, honestly, I've had many conversations with him, and he's always pleasant to talk to and very knowledgeable. And I can see why that the committee back then, which I wasn't a member of at that time, selected him into the first round.
First group.
Yep.
Perlis used to tell the story about Dean Look and say that he made it really tough for the rest of the players because Duffy always used to say, how come you guys can't be like Dean? Because Dean would always go to class, he always get good grades, he was perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was too good to be true. So, the other guys who were always getting in trouble, it was like, how come you can't be like Dean? So, that's funny.
Well, another thing about Dean Look, and I don't want people to get the wrong idea, but what a great looking guy. I mean, he could have been in the movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he was just gorgeous, and then married Mickey and another great woman. And anyway, I'm really going to have a good time next Thursday and seeing Dean and Jimmy back again in Walt. That's going to be fun.
Tell us about this because we're getting close now. We're 7 days away, and I still get people saying, can I get a ticket? What do I do?
I'm getting calls now. They're putting the articles in the paper, a couple of days ago. And, Courtney Scott was in, and Dave Allen will be in tomorrow. But so I'm getting several calls a day. And we have about 100 tickets left. Now, we max out, and we'll probably max out too. I mean, we max out at $450. I stop at $450.
Yeah.
Because anything more than that, I just don't think our group, who works a lot of the show, as you know, I don't want them burdened down with all that stuff. And there's no money to be made on meals anyway. I mean, generally, banquets don't bring in a lot of revenue. Our revenue comes from our great sponsors. And so
you do an incredible job, and you've had loyal sponsors.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Oh, they're unbelievable. They're just unbelievable. And not only do they give to us, they give to the entire community. And, when we first moved into the Lansing Center in 2012, Kelly Dean was the first guy and Dwayne Vernon, God bless his heart, was a member of our Hall of Fame and our committee. He turned me on to Kelly, and I talked to Kelly, and he's been on ever since. Ralph Shaheen's been on, Applegate Home Comfort, One North. I mean, just it goes down the line, and we've got.
How many sponsors do you have?
We have 11, and I could go out and get more, but I think we have enough money to survive maybe an emergency like COVID was a couple of years ago. And honestly, I don't know that we need to have a whole lot of money in reserve. And I don't want to be responsible for that thing.
Yeah.
So I just I get what we need with a little bit in reserve for rainy days if we need it.
Right.
And I always feel if we need more, I'll go out and get it.
Rob, it says something about Bob Every and the Greater Lansing Area Sports Hall of Fame that he could get more sponsors. He could put more people in that room, but you choose not to and make it more of a quality thing. It emphasizes the sponsors. You do have more. It's maybe more intimate.
Yeah,
for the crowd,
that's
right?
and that's a nice word, Jack. Intimate. We have the welcome hour that starts at 4:30, and that usually runs about an hour.
Yeah.
But with this amount of people can fill their way through the crowd and talk to people that they haven't seen for, in some cases, years.
Right.
And it's tough when when we send our players out ringing the dinner bell to get them in the room to eat.
Yes.
Because they're engaged in these conversations.
Well, I'm usually grabbing 3 of them for interviews, right?
Yeah,
We do the show there. So.
Oh, yeah, you do your show live, and that's great. And I'm going to try to get Tony Watson, the CEO, as one of your guests.
Good.
And, he's fairly new, and he's got some nice ideas about the Lansing Center.
Good.
And, of course, we want to stay really connected to the Lansing Center because that is a very good place for us to have our Hall of Fame. I don't know that there's a better place in town.
Right.
And I don't want to be like the Michigan Hall of Fame where I'm chasing buildings around to put my stuff in and only to be asked to leave after a couple of years. It's tough.
I've told you the story that I've actually seen people staying in the hotel, walking across through the tube, coming over for convention, meetings, whatever, and they're late for their meetings because they're looking at your displays.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we've done a good job getting, old paraphernalia from people that wore them in games and that donated it to our cause. So not only do we have just the plaques up, but we have all sorts of paraphernalia, old sports items and stuff like that people can come and look. It's a museum too.
Yeah, it is.
I'll tell you one quick story. I mean, we had a guy that I ran into over there that was from Atlanta, and he was there on business, and they was doing a convention, and he was looking at the John Smoltz picture.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he said, Smoltz is my favorite player. He says, I never knew
that he was
from Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah.
I said, yep. I mean, I was thinking about this again today. I don't know of any town or area our size that has more professional athletes than we have.
Yeah.
And
per capita, I'd take Lansing.
Yeah, not only professional athletes, but great amateur athletes.
Yeah.
Olympians and national champions and stuff. It's just this is a great place to live. I've lived here all my life practically. I'm from St. John's, but
Flint is very good.
Flint is good, but they're not Lansing.
So for this class, this golden anniversary class, you could not have a bigger name than our headliner. You want to talk a little bit about this guy named Izzo?
Of course. Maybe one of the greatest coaches of all times, not just in basketball, but I mean what he's done. He's won national championships. He's won Big Ten championships.
Yeah.
But his interaction with players is like none I've ever seen before. Yeah. I mean, I've been out to a few of his practices, as you have.
Yeah.
And his players challenge him. They'll challenge him. But he's heady enough and smart enough to know that you've got to give them space, just like they have to give me space. And it works out to be what appears to be a beautiful relationship between coach and player. And I love Tom. I think he's the greatest. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick little story here. I remember when he was named the head basketball coach at Michigan State. I was in Dagwoods when I heard the news on the sports show, 6 o'clock sports show.
Yeah.
And I gave a good, yeah. And there's a guy putting money in the jukebox. He said, that's a stupid move. That's a stupid move.
Yeah.
And I've been in 4 bar fights in my entire life.
That was right.
And one of them was that night. But
what punch did you throw?
Well, yeah, I threw a left hook and a right hand. That's usually my standard, and that was good enough to get the job done or send a strong enough message that we didn't want to pursue this thing any farther. But I tell Tom that every once in a while that, I got in a fight over your hire.
I was sitting in the basketball office in the outer room when Judd was finalizing this deal. This is 43 years ago, summer of '83. He comes out and he says, "Hey, I just hired the guy from Iron Mountain." I says, "Judd, you told me you weren't going to do that. You turned him down twice, right?" And he just broken his jaw. Tom had broken his jaw in softball. Ball hit a fast pitch softball, hit a rock, came up, hit him in the face, right? And so he's talking like this. I said, Judd, why did you hire him? He says, I wanted someone who couldn't talk back to me.
That makes sense.
That's Judd, right?
Yeah. And Tom was a pretty good baseball player. We almost had him scheduled to play on our Sanchez baseball team.
Oh.
I talked to him over at Eastern. That's when they were playing City League games at Kirshner and then Eastern. Yeah. And he was over there watching another team, and I tried to talk him into. Said, hey, why don't you come out for Sanchez Construction? We were winning everything back then. Yeah. And he said, you know what? I when are you going to have another practice?
He liked it. Yeah.
And we had him all plugged in, and then he got picked to be the head coach, and he said, no, I just don't think I'm going to have the time.
So anytime you have Tom Izzo going into yet another Hall of Fame, one of the few he has not been inducted into.
This is his hometown Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
though.
that's right. That's right. You make that very clear. But he's not the only one going in. You have the Valentine brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Carlton is in. We remember V getting up before, but now Denzel and his older brother Drew, coach at Loyola, coming in. And they would be headliners in any other year.
Oh, of course. And Drew is he's the Lansing connection that started it all, or was one of the guys that started it all in Oakland with Courtney Scott, who's another guy coming in from Waverly.
Right. Yeah. Who else?
Well, we got a
lot of basketball players. You mentioned Courtney Scott, John Holmes.
Yeah, John Holmes is a great two or three sport athlete at Sexton. Played basketball on a Big Ten championship team at Michigan State, I believe. Maybe he played with who's Tom, the big tall, Tommy Lick, who passed away. God rest his soul.
Jumping Johnny Green era.
Oh my God, yeah. And then Debbie Kent, the pioneer Lansing Laurels fast pitch pitcher.
Right.
And Drew and Den, and then we got Dave Allen, one of the very finest baseball players, led his team to the Diamond Classic, which is a very big tournament each year here in the Lansing area. Was signed by Oral Roberts with a full ride, and then drafted by the San Francisco Giants after he got out of college. And we've got the 1999 Jessica Beach, Dan Stoll's Okemos High School State Championship girls softball team.
So this is all ball sports: basketball, baseball, and softball.
You know, I didn't look at it that way, but I think you're right.
And one of the things I love about this group, as I go back through every year and try to figure out who should be in, we have more sports represented. I mean, sports people say I didn't even know that person, but we're talking about people who are world class or national class caliber.
Exactly, and it's really funny. I mean, we do. I mean, we have dressage. We have a dressage, Jackie Vanier, who is a dressage champion.
Billiards.
Vicky Paskey, of course, in hot rod racing. I mean, it's unbelievable how you guys can dig these people up. And one of our real good guys that used to do that all the time, God rest his soul, he's gone now, Jimmy Hornberger, just passed away not long ago. But we'd come in there and you guys would throw these names out there and I'd just shake my head. Where you get these guys from,
Yeah.
And you look them up and you say, my goodness gracious, really?
They're the best at what they do?
Yeah, they really are. And so, we just keep doing that. We just keep challenging each other to submit names that are really worthy of being there. And, of course, it's more than just being worthy. It's, you have to have some other qualities as well. And we
have to have been nominated, which for some people is that's the crux of the problem.
That is, too, because everybody thinks that we are supposed to be nominating and then selecting. I don't think so.
No.
You nominate general public, and then we'll select from your nominations.
That's
and
right.
It would seem that way we're doing a fair and honest job of running the Greater Lansing Area Sports Hall of Fame.
And if you have someone you think should be in the Hall of Fame, just go to the website.
Yes.
Right?
Google up Lansing Sports Hall of Fame and tab on to inductees and nominees.
You may find that the person you've been waiting for has not been nominated, and then you can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make the nomination, and then you'll feel really good when they get in.
Yeah, and we haven't had a lot of people that have, maybe none, that have come to, and we don't meet a whole lot. We meet 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
And but our meetings are open to the general public if they want to come in and then rev up a file of one of the people that's been nominated and add to it.
Yeah.
We're reasonable kings.
All right. Can't let you go without once again letting people know how they get tickets these last a couple tables that are available,
yep.
and how much they are. This is the best bargain in town.
Well, it's $40 a ticket.
How often can you get access to Tom Izzo and the Valentines for $40?
None that I know of. I mean, and we just raised our ticket price from $35 to $40 2 years ago. It's been that $35 for years and years and years. I mean, again, there's not a lot of money in food, so we want people to come and just enjoy themselves, and our sponsors pick up the back end for us.
Right.
Thank God.
Right.
But go into your Google webpage. You can find an ticket application there, and we're getting close now, so you may want to call the number on the entry form. Or the application
There's a number
form,
to call.
and that's mine. That's my number.
Okay.
I'll talk to you. You know, don't call me.
You talk
during
right to the executive director, ladies and gentlemen. You don't go to some automated switchboard.
Yeah, don't call me when the Tigers are losing. And then all the information is there. And if you have questions beyond that, just ring me up, and I'll be happy to explain it to you as best I can. And we'd love to see you there. It's a fun night filled with tremendous amounts of emotion from people that all had thought that they'd been long forgotten, And now all of a sudden they get up there and, they got people to thank. And then when they start thanking those people, it gets get a
little emotional.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's okay, too, because, I like to know that people are human.
And you do a good job almost all the time. Once in a while, you get someone who just can't stop talking.
Yeah.
But you do a pretty good job of getting people out.
Yeah,
right?
I do make an announcement now before it starts, and I contact them before the show even takes place. Now, remember, we've got a lot of older people here. They want to be home before it gets dark, and we don't want you up here dragging. We want you to have your night, but we don't want you to say the same thing over for 40 minutes. So know what you want to say and who you want to thank, and let's say it and get out of there.
Truth be told, Rob, Bob Every wants this thing to be over so he can see the last 4 innings of the Tigers game.
Well, yeah, I mean, but this is one night I'll defer and give it everything I got, and I'm so happy for Tom, and I told Tom the other day, I said, I want you to be to Michigan State what Knute Rockne was to Notre Dame, and people may say, well, he's already there, but let me tell you something, Knute Rockne.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Knute Rockne as a kid before I knew any other coach in my life.
Yeah.
And Tom has those qualities, and he has that leadership, and he not only that, about sports, he cares as much about people as he does sports.
Yeah, I don't know any coach in the country who is as identified with their university as Tom Izzo. Yeah. Hey, when people get shot on campus, he's the one bringing everyone together. He's the unifier.
Yeah, and when we hooked up the university, him and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, it was
what a great setup there. And then I remember going to Tom's house for a barbecue when he lived over near the Groesbeck area.
Yeah,
when he was an assistant for Judd, throwing it on for the Lansing Community College basketball team that were playing very well and won a national championship.
Well, and you helped me spend that day with Muhammad Ali, which was the greatest day of my professional
career.
Yeah,
he was something else, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, on your way out the door, give us your number. One more time. Everyone has your number.
Okay,
517-484
0677. That's my home phone. I'll pick it up, talk to you, and keep it clean.
484-0677, right?
Yeah.
484-0677.
Yep, that's exactly right.
That's the number. If you see that on a bathroom wall, don't pay attention.
Yeah, it'll be on the webpage too, so you'll
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Bob. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Jack. Always a pleasure. You know that.
We'll see you next Thursday.
All right, bye.
All right. We'll be right back and waiting patiently, stalking right now. He wants to talk about those Tigers. Jim Stark is here, our Detroit area correspondent. Be right back on The Drive with Jack.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Welcome back. It is the Drive with Jack Spotlight Radio Network. You know, I look around. The only thing different is the shirt color. Bob Every had that light blue Crown Boxing shirt. Jim Stark has the red lug nuts.
Well, this is actually, Jack, this is our baseball team. This is not a fan shirt from the lug. This is our baseball jersey. We are the team I play on and manage. We are the Zug Island lug nuts. Not the Lansing lug nuts, but we did steal the logo, so shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, wow.
But this is actually our jersey.
So there's more than one lug nuts. I thought that was unique.
And you know what? Another one of the teams in our league, a younger team, they took our name too. So there's 2 lug nuts in our league now.
So has anyone ever told you that you look a little like Bob Every? You're the same size.
Oh, boy, I wish
you have the same flowing hair.
Yep. Well, he's got a very square jaw, though. And he looks like a
Both
boxer.
have the glasses.
Yep. You know what, though? As I mentioned to him as he was leaving, I miss working with the Hall of Fame every day.
Yeah.
That was the greatest job I ever had. And I offer him all the congratulations of the world with the job they've done.
You should come to the thing.
I'm planning on it. I'm planning on it.
Come?
Yeah, because Tom's going in. Tom Izzo's going. But
be sure you have a ticket.
But as a Hall of Fame aficionado, what you've done here in Lansing is just a model. It's a model because you haven't tried to be too much. You haven't tried to be more than you need to be, but you're very efficient in what you do. And again, I think going back 25 years, I'd do differently at the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's been a labor of love for him. I mean, he's done it.
He's done a long time.
We're just on the committee. He does all the work.
But he's been a long time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for him.
He will have seen all 50 starting in 1976.
I'm envious of him because, again, that was the best job I ever had.
Yeah. What about the job the Tigers
Speaking
have
of good
done
jobs,
June 1st, huh?
Well, 36-22, Jack.
Yeah.
They are sixth. That's about 621 winning percentage. Do you know that's the best winning percentage of any team in the majors right now? I mean, you're comparing apples to oranges, but they played 621 baseball since June 1st, and that's championship baseball. That's winning baseball. I watched looked at the box score from today. Who would have thought, Jack, if I'd have told you back in we were arguing about how good the Tigers would be back in February, if I told you that the pitcher with the most wins by middle of August was Cater Montero, you'd have thrown me out of here. You'd have thought I was off the rail. Right. But sure enough, 9 wins, 9-8 today. Another big win. The bullpen, the ERAs are creeping down.
Yeah.
Creeping down. Holton today, his ERA is under 3 now, and he was blowing up all the time earlier. The save today went to Kelly Jansen, who is creeping down under 4. So it's improving
he still makes
a little.
Me nervous.
Oh, they all make me nervous, but they're improving. They're improving, which is what and this is the time of year you want to start to get better.
Yeah, 22 and 38 they were.
Is that what it was?
Games.
I didn't look at that. Yeah,
and now they're They were almost there. They completely flipped it.
You know what the record is since the last time Skubal pitched? 9-3.
9-3.
Yeah, since he
Skubal
left.
was the problem.
But you know what? It goes to show you he wasn't helping as much as maybe they thought.
Yeah.
Because
starting pitchers only pitch once every 5 days.
And they pitch 7 innings.
80% of the time, they're not a factor.
You still have to have a bullpen no matter what. Yeah. But we said that at the time, just at the trading deadline, we said that he was a luxury they really couldn't take advantage of. And sure enough, they got some good prospects for him. And now they're today, as of today, they're officially, for one day anyways, back in the wild card.
And who has a better ERA in the American League than Troy Melton? No.
Oh, and who's pitched better? Fantastic. He has been lights out. Again, he was not at the top of the league. He was that other. Remember, you talked about the starting rotation. We talked about Valdez. We talked about Skubal. We talked about Mize. We talked about Verlander. And Troy Melton might, but he's been the stud as much as Katie Montero has been a real solid.
Montero was great today,
but they would not be where they are today without either one of those two guys.
Today's game, Jim, I mentioned this earlier, very rare. You don't see a team throw a shutout without a strikeout.
Without a strikeout. And the Tigers have been striking out a lot of guys. Yeah. So for them to be able to win without a strikeout is a good sign. Yeah. It means they're not walking guys. They're getting outs. The defense is playing well.
So I have a prediction.
Oh, okay.
Tigers are going to sweep the White Sox.
Wow.
They are favored in the ESPN matchup predictor to win each game.
Well, that put them in first place at the end of next series.
Place.
Yep.
By Sunday night, they'll be in first place.
Before the 1st of September, they're in first place. If I'd have told, we used to talk about that back even a month ago, we'd have said, there's no way. We hope they might be close to first place by the end of the season, that last week push or something.
Not only are they going to win the AL Central, they're going to have a better record than the AL West.
So you're going on record right now. They're going to win the Central and have the best record than any team other than the East.
Other than the East. So that would mean they'd be the 2 seed. They won't even have to play in the wild card.
Wouldn't that be?
They talk about, can they get a wild card? They won't even be in the wild card.
Because the wild card's going to have to play, New York, Boston? That will be no easy game.
The number 1 seed, which will be likely Tampa Bay.
Right.
Will have to play the 4 and the 5, which right now is New York and Boston.
Right.
They'd have to play the New York Boston winner.
Yeah.
The Tigers, as a 2 seed, would play the 3 or the 6. The 3 is the West Division winner, who's going to be 500.
Right.
Or the weakest wild card. The Tigers are going to have a better record than the teams they played, and the 2 wild card teams that play the 1 seed will have a better record than the Tigers.
So it really is essential now, the way you just laid that out, for them to win the division.
Yeah.
Wild card's not going to be anything.
No.
You'll make it, but that'll be about it.
Yeah, you don't want to be the wild
You
card.
want to win the division because it puts you in a much better position in that first round.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because only the top seed gets the bye, right? And that's pretty much Tampa for sure.
Jim, I think back, it's about 10 days now. And we had a guest on the show, a guest I was very reluctant to book.
Okay.
Bob Every had a hand in me finally acquiescing.
Okay.
Dennis Dale McClain.
Yes, you told me that, yeah.
And he was on, and besides bemoaning the fact that the Tigers hadn't invited him back to their celebration, he was talking about A.J. Hinch being one of the 2 worst managers in baseball history with Ted Williams, and talking about the pitching coach who had no business being in professional baseball, that he was a college guy who didn't belong in the major leagues. And you can say, well, Chris Fetter did this or should have done this, but the state doesn't belong in the game. I'm looking at the Tigers pitching. They're not where they are because they've been hitting the best batting average or having the most home runs. They have had a lot of home runs the last 2 months. But it's been the starting pitching that has carried this team.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, if you listen to Denny McClain, you got to not just take a handful of salt. You better have a truck full of salt to have along with him because he is, well, I won't go off, but let's just say he was a good pitcher for a few years, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think he was a great pitcher for a few years,
but it was a long.
But again, it's basically a 5-year window.
But I think just stricken by his comments, I think both those comments I would strongly disagree with based on the facts.
Yeah.
And now Ted Williams, he played for Ted Williams.
He did.
Okay, Ted Williams, and I kind of researched this at one point. His problem as a manager was he couldn't understand why everybody couldn't do what he could do.
He wanted to manage Ted Williams.
Yeah,
and he couldn't do it.
He couldn't understand why no one could. Well, just hit the ball. Well, you know what? But that's why superstars rarely make good managers, because it comes so natural to them. They can't understand when someone can't do it.
Who was the best player who became a great manager?
I thought about this. Joe Torre.
Oh.
He's the guy I would pick.
Yeah.
Frank Robinson was never the manager Joe Torre was.
Right.
Frank Robinson would be a pick. Dusty Baker might be a pick.
Good. Shane Deans, maybe. But
I think the guy
Joe Torre would be one.
I think so. Yeah, because he wasn't great for a long time, but he had some really good years. But he was a really good. He became a really good manager. But most of the great managers were never great players.
And Joe Torre was a catcher who became a third baseman, right? And an all-star.
Yeah, he had that one phenomenal year in '71 when he was playing for the Cardinals. But he had a good career. But again, when you add how good of a manager he was and how good of a player, it's probably the best. Frank Robinson, I'd love to give to him. He was an average manager at best.
You know, I think back to the 1971 All-Star game, arguably the greatest All-Star game ever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With all the Hall of Famers.
Six Hall of Fame home runs.
That's right. 6 home runs in that game. That's exactly right. Yep. All by Hall of Famers. And you look at the National League lineup. Right? And you've got Mays, and you've got Aaron, and you've got
Bench,
and you've got a who's who.
I think McCovey was the first. Yeah, it was amazing.
Willie McCovey.
Yep.
Also, right? And you know who batted third for the National League?
Oh, man. You know what? I don't.
Joe Torre.
Okay. Yeah, because he was a high. He wasn't a fast runner, but he was a high. I think he had 361 in 71. So he was a high average hitter. He was not a fast guy,
right?
But he was a good hitter though.
Yeah, a lot of doubles.
Yep.
Reminded me of the late Harvey Keene.
Yes,
he was the same kind of player.
His career was shorter than a lot of guys, but for a few years he was one of the best hitters in baseball.
Yeah.
But I thought about it. He's the guy I would pick if I had to pick one.
So of all the Tigers pitchers, right?
Yep.
You got to win one game.
Oh, boy. The ones on the staff now?
On the staff now.
Oh, it's easy. Go ahead.
Who do you most want to see on the mound, and who do you least want to see? Who would give you the most sleepless?
Troy Melton.
Troy Melton would be on the mound.
And Framber Valdez is the least
exactly.
one. Because he's been so inconsistent. You never know what you're going to get with him. He's got all the tools. He can shut out anybody on a given night, but he can also lose his temper. He can lose his concentration. He can start walking guys. So he's the least predictable of all of them.
It's so interesting you say that, because with the amount of money that guys get, it doesn't correlate to what they do. You know what Troy Melton is making this year?
Well, I want to say $1.2 million, maybe. Not even
700.
Okay, so he's still in the minimum. He's still in the rookie year.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
785,500.
That might be the minimum, close to it, anyways.
It
yeah.
is.
Okay. Yeah, and Framber Valdez is what, making $8 million a year? Or,
no, 38. $38 million. He's making
that's right. He
signed
made
twice as much as Skubal on the arbitration offer.
That's right. Yep. Well, again,
$38 million versus $760,000.
There was a question too. If you remember, we talked about that. Why are the Astros letting him go? And we've seen it. We've seen the dark side of him.
A good friend of mine called me, or I called him. I think he called me back. And when the Tigers got Valdez, I said, I remember this guy's an all-star. What happened? Be careful what you wish for.
Yep. When the Lord wants to punish you, you grant your wish, right?
Yeah.
Well, and again, I think Adrian Hinch probably had a lot to say about bringing him in, because he had success with him.
Sure.
And it's always a gamble when you're bringing someone.
And he's had good games, but he's not reliable.
When you have that kind of mercurial personality, it's always a bit of a risk.
Yeah.
Always. And sure, it could end up being in your favor, but if it doesn't, and again, look, it was a perfect storm of negativity. Skubal got hurt.
Yeah.
The Tigers tanked in May.
Right.
Everything that could work to make Valdez look bad happened.
Yeah.
But you know what? He can hide now and just kind of hide in the weeds, because you've got a Troy Melton, you've got a Kader Montero, who are really you've got certainly Jackson Jobe. Was his first, people are going to want to see a second one. So he can kind of hide in the background right now and maybe try to be that secret weapon kind of a pitcher.
Jim Stark, our guest. Jim, tell us about baseball this week.
Well, we're going to talk obviously about not only the last month and a half. who's led them there, how they got there, what's happened, what's going to take now to stay there. It took a huge effort to get there. Staying there is a whole different story, right? What's going to happen there? We're going to talk about the series coming up with the Chicago White Sox, which is a critical series.
Yeah.
We said last week they had to win 4 out of 6 between the 6 games between the Guardians and the White Sox. Well, they're halfway there. Right. So we'll talk about that, and then also I want to talk about this book.
They have series against the Guardians and the White Sox on the road.
Yes, but at home when they've got momentum and they've got some real fan excitement, this is the time to win right now. Yeah. But this book, I just finished it, Jack. It's called Why We Love Baseball: A History in 50 Moments by Joe Posnanski. But it's a great book. I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to get quiz Rob on what he thinks about some of these great moments if he agrees with them. So,
last thing, I promise. Have you been over to Strikeout Baseball yet?
Well, a couple times, yeah. I've not played there, but I've been by there several times.
I couldn't believe the kids there today. I mean, people, getting into it. They've got some big plans there, but it's a fantastic facility.
Well,
I've never been there.
And you know what? I'd love to play. Frankly, I never have time when I'm in town here to play. But
only takes 2.
You know what? And it's such a what's the right word? It's an experience. It's not just go. It draws you in.
Yeah.
When you see that backdrop and you see the stands, you want to go in there and play. And I give John Smoltz a lot of credit for being the leader and the visionary in that, because it's hard to see some of that stuff.
Yeah. A guy named Jeff Lazarus did all the sweat equity on it.
But Smoltz kind of put him over the top, right? He was a spiritual leader. He was a spiritual leader.
Right. He was involved in that.
Yeah.
To allow them to make it happen.
And it's in a neighborhood where you wouldn't necessarily think, well, I don't know if I want. But you know what? It's amazing what you can do if people believe in what you're doing and people have the best of intentions. Good things can always happen.
It's amazing how something like that can transform a neighborhood.
Yeah. It doesn't take a miracle.
Right.
It takes sometimes something rather small. Now, it wasn't small in the fact that it was expensive, but the concept is, a baseball park. Well, what a concept, right?
Right. And now there's the soccer field, Beacon Field next to it, which has the boards around it, so you have to chase the ball. You've got nets that are built into it and screens.
Well, and again, it just goes to show you there's always hope. I don't care what a situation looks like. There's hope if good people can see something and can make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Look forward to baseball this week coming up.
Well, we're certainly popular now because the Tigers are popular. Our timing is good.
Very good. I want to thank all of our guests today, Rob. Starting with Tony Garcia, dragging him off the golf course in Ann Arbor, talking Michigan football and the Big Ten. Appreciate him joining us and delaying his round. Reiner Saban of the Detroit Free Press. It was an all-Freep hour from 4 to 5. Reiner, of course, also has covered the Detroit Lions with Dave Burkett, but very versatile and covering Big Ten football now, Michigan and Michigan State, being at both places. There aren't many people who can say that in the last week. Appreciate him. And Chase Michelson from Circus Sports in Las Vegas. And our in-studio guest, Bob Every from the Greater Lansing Area Sports Hall of Fame. Don't forget you can still get tickets. And Jim Stark. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a great night.